The Endeavour is a heavy science ship that relies on its modularity to get around the verse. This gives the ship a wide range of gameplay features to choose from. Want to become a doctor and have a medic bay? Or maybe a explorer charting the stars? The ship can do that and more. So today I'm going to be talking about the Endeavour and all the modules and features we know and possibly come out in the future. So let's get the first thing out of the way and say that I'm not going to be talking about the stats of the ship. The reason for this is because it's going to change when it gets released. So let's just talk about the price of the ship. So the ship is $350 at the moment. That is $350 for a capital class ship, and a ship that has a lot of modularity and a lot of gameplay options in the future. Now we know that the Endeavour is going to be going up in price, especially when it's going to get released. The ship's going to grow in size, and we're going to have more resources brought to it. So the CRG is going to increase the price. We don't know how much the price is going to be increased, but I would say we'll probably see the ship at least $600. We could see it even more up to the $700, $800. You've got to remember this ship is a capital class ship. When it will hopefully gets released in the future, it will hopefully be a capital class ship. So that gives CIG the more the excuse to say, okay, we're going to put this up at about 600 at least. This means if you are looking at this ship and you want to buy this ship, I would say you probably want to buy it right now or when it comes on sale in the near future, before this price jump comes into play. If you look at the carrot was $350, and then this turned into a $600 ship. This is what's going to happen to the Endeavour eventually. You do have time. I think they're revisiting the whole concept of the Endeavour right now, so we know that this ship is going to take some time to actually get worked on and have this price increase, but hey, we'd never know. I would say try to get this ship as soon as possible when you can. The Endeavour has three parts to the ship: the bridge, the middle section for the modules, and at the end of the ship is the engines, and this is where you're going to be working on the engines and the quantum drive, all that stuff. Now the Endeavour has a little party trick. The bridge can actually detach from the rest of the ship and actually go close to stars and actually gather research from closer to stars that other ships won't be able to do. This means that you can actually have a lot more flexibility to how you're going to crew your Endeavour. You can leave some people in the modules area, what modules you're going to fit, and actually go over with maybe 2 or 3 guys to close to a star and research that and come back and have that research to improve on what you're trying to do. Now we got that out of the way, let's get into the modules. I think that's what a lot of people want to hear, is what the modules are going to be and what can you do with these modules. So let's get into the module. The Bidome, Farmville in space. Wanted to be a farmer that can actually travel from planet to planet and gather new exciting vegetables and crops? This is going to be the attachment or module for you. These crops can range from being a very easy, common crop around the verse to a very rare, hard to find crop in very special star systems. The easy crops are going to be very easy to find in the verse and be very cheap to buy and sell. So if you wanted to buy the seeds, it's going to be very cheap to buy them, but it's going to be very cheap to sell the actual crop to places like Lorville, places like moons and outposts and space stations. And orgs, big orgs might not want to buy this stuff because they probably want just the rare stuff that I will get into in a minute. Now the rare crops are obviously going to be very scarce into the verse. You're going to have to go out and do different star systems that are going to be very hard to get to, but find these rare crops and to come back and sell them for a high price. Not only that, rare crops are going to need certain conditions to be met for it to grow. You're going to have to monitor the temperature and research what temperature climate this crop needs to be in. Not only that, you're going to probably need to know what soil or what type of soil you're going to need to be putting these rare crops in. Will it need brown soil, red soil, sand? I'm not a farmer, so I don't know if there's any such thing of these this brown and red soil. But you know what I mean. You're gonna need to monitor. You're gonna have to have specific situations for this to grow in. However, this means that your crops are going to sell for a lot more higher price, a lot more quickly, because there's going to be more need for this. And not only that, it could also give you a bonus. Mr. Roberts has said in the past that when you eat, they might give you a little bonus. For me, I believe that a bonus could be for speed. Maybe you can go a little quicker. Maybe you will not run out of breath that much. Maybe you won't get as fatigued in dog fighting. This actually means that the big orgs, might actually want to buy a lot of these crops off you, because this actually gives them a slight advantage over fights against the enemy. So this could actually be a very, very lucrative items and crops. These rare crops could be very lucrative. So you might actually want to consider doing the rare crops route. The telescope array. This is going to be your mobile observatory. You're going to be able to chart jump points with this telescope array by pointing it at a section of space and finding it that way. Then you're going to be able to go back and take that data and go back and sell this data to players or to NPCs in the verse and get money that way. However, you could also join with maybe a carrack, go as a team and find this jump point, take your carrack and put your carrack through the jump point, and the carrack can get data coming back, and then you can go off and sell that data that way. That might be a bit more profitable. You could also actually have the hanger module with you and have a cutlass black, for example, stashed in there, and once you find this warp point, you can go out with a cutlass black, go and find the whatever behind that jump point, come back and take that data and sell that way. The Super Collider. This allows the user to produce Class A parts and to also produce overclock parts to then go off and sell this to the market for a high price. So I believe org members would really want to buy these kind of guns, these armor, this quantum drives, the shields, because they're all going to be the best in the game. And I believe by the Super Collider you're going to be producing the best components in the game that big orgs are going to want to have to go off fighting, because it actually gives them the advantage in the fight. Now I believe the Super Collider is going to be one of the best modules in the game, because I think the demand for overclocked parts are going to be very high. You actually get the advantage over other orgs. So I think that if you're looking for making a lot of money, I think the Super Collider is probably one of the better ones. Of course, we have to see when it comes out. We don't know yet, but I believe this is what the Super Collider is going to be, one of the best modules in the game. The Medical Bay. This is actually gives the Endeavour basically the end game for medical gameplay in the future. This also gives a role in fights now, because you can actually put your Endeavour in the back, and when your guys die, your guys can actually go and spawn into the Endeavour for no fee and actually go into the fight with the hanger module really quickly. So the medical bay is going to be very important for big orcs. Now this also means that you can actually sit outside of a fight, not in August necessarily, sit outside a fight and actually wait for people to spawn in there and pay money. They're going to have to spawn and actually spend money for you to heal them up, and then get out the hangar and go over and join the fight basically. The landing bay. This transfers your Endeavour to actually be basically a hangar. Last time we heard, the hangar module was able to fit 2 Cutlass Reds. However, the Cutlass Reds are now bigger, and I expect the hangar module to be even bigger in return. So we might actually still see 2 Cutlass Reds, but that's the size that you're going to be able to fit. I think we also said that you could spawn the ships there. We don't know yet if you'll be able to spawn the ships, but I expect we will be in the future. That makes it very It synergizes as well with the medical bay, because the person can spawn in a medical bay, go down, spawn his ship, and then go out and fight again, basically. So this is a very important module for a lot of people, and I think a lot of people really do like this module because it does synergize well with a lot of other modules. Like I did say the telescope array before, because the telescope array you could find a jump point and then you can go down to the hangar bay and actually take out whatever ship you have in there and go through the jump point. So we've got through the larger modules, so we're going to be now talking about the small modules. However, I'm going to quickly go through the small modules because this video is going to be way too long if I don't. So the first module we're going to be talking about is the service equipment pod. This is a module that allows people to go and have beds and have a place to eat. This is going to be very good to synergize well with something like a telescope array, because it'll be very good to log out, basically to go and eat and sleep, have a place to eat and sleep. So this is going to synergize well with that. The general research pod, this is going to be able to research stuff like maybe your crops, for example. So this is going to synergize well with the biodome, for example, because the biodome, you're going to want crops to know what soil and temperature it is. You could be doing that in the general research pod. The general science pod, the description that CIG gave us sounds like it's more like a data gathering area. So this might synergize well with something like the super collider, because of course you're going to find new ways to overclock your items, and you're going to want to save that data, and this is probably might be the way. This is the pod to save that data, or I think this is a pod that saves this data. It could also mean that you could do data gathering in the future with this pod. I'm not sure what they're going to go with this pod. And the last pod that we know of is the fuel pod. This is we know what this is. It's going to give you more fuel, basically. This pod will synergize well with something like a telescope array again, because this is going to be for longer journeys out in the verse, out in space, before you have to go and refuel. So this is going to be synergized well with the telescope array. Now that's the modules that we know of right now. We know that they're going to be doing future modules, and this is what makes the Endeavour such a great ship to have, because you could probably outfit it to do basically anything. So in the future we might have a module that could do just cargo, and this is a big ship, so you could outfit it to maybe have like 3,000 cargo and be one of the best cargo runners in the game. So that would be quite cool to actually see what future modules we're going to have. For example, we might have a refinery car module, so where you can have your prospectors. I just thought of this. You can have a prospector, 2 prospectors, and put them in the hangar module, and then when you get to a moon, you could actually fly your prospectors down, put them in the gather all the ores, go back up and put all the stuff you've just got into your refinery module, and actually get a lot of profit that way. So this is what gives the Endeavour the flexibility that it might actually have in the future. We don't know what if they're going to actually give us new modules. They did say, but their plans might be changed. So yeah, I think this is why the Endeavour is going to be such a great ship to have. But yeah, unfortunately this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, if you even got to this part. If you liked the video, press the like button. If you disliked the video, press the dislike button. And if you want to subscribe, press the subscribe button. I've over 50 subs, what is not my goal right now. My goal is to get to 100 subs. That's my first goal, and we're getting there. So thanks for subscribing if you did subscribe from this video. Goodbye.